All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, support each of you. Most of you are resellers with us. There's no cost to be a reseller, no contract to sign. It's a great way to help people improve their financial literacy and increase their access to capital, and earn some side income for yourself. Certainly not get rich quick, but it's a good side income. So as we see at the top of the agenda, today is February 21st. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to type those into the Q&A box. It's like a chat box of Zoom. And we're going to pivot a little bit because so in the big picture, what do we do? And let's go ahead and add that first. So what is it that we do? So together, what you and I do, what your organization and our organization collaborates to do, again, is two things: improve financial literacy of small business owners. And the reason for that is, just politely, most of them don't know what you know. You know what it takes to have a fundable business. Essentially, you know that there's a formula for funding. A lot of these folks, they don't know that. They want money, they need money, but they're stuck. And often they have misinformation that's worse than just not knowing. So they're making decisions based upon inaccurate information. So the first thing that we need to do is to improve financial literacy. We have a number of resources to do that. One of the best ones is that 27 mistake video. If you're not familiar with it, you can go to our YouTube channel, and there's a training that's called the 27 mistakes. If you've not gone through it, I recommend you do. You can go out and teach that in person, online. I know I've gone to churches, apartment complexes, chambers of commerce. It's great. But anyway, the first thing that we primarily do is improve financial literacy. And then secondly, what we do is increase access to capital. Now, I will tell you that a lot of people really don't care about number one. They just want, show me the money, show me the money. But if they don't understand how the system works, it's unlikely that they'll be successful in getting the capital. So with access to capital, we've gone through different iterations and evolutions through the years. I was talking to Michael B., who's on this morning. He's a former New Jersey state trooper, a great guy. But we were talking yesterday about, over time, we've had to evolve based upon what works and what doesn't. And really, we're serving two masters. We have the client that's looking to raise capital, and we have all of you that's looking to make money off the clients making capital. So in terms of how we deliver to, it's really off of two items. We have the shelf corpse, because it used to be we spend a lot of time building a business from scratch. But I tell you what, that takes longer, and there's so many potential obstacles and barriers that a lot of times small business owners wouldn't follow through. They would stop participating. The Shelf Corp eliminates that. So the Shelf Corp is our primary resource. And then for those clients that already have a business, but it's not yet fundable, then we have the Business Accelerator. So this is primarily what we do. So ironically, what we're talking about today is not what we primarily do. Today, we're going to talk about, what do we do when you run into someone that just needs 10,000 fast? Is it they need 10,000 to buy a Shelf Corp from you? Is it they need 10,000 for other reasons? Whatever that reason may be, doesn't matter why they need the money. Just someone that needs 10,000 fast. Well, let's think about this logically. So pull yourself out of the equation, because you're different. You're better prepared than the average person. But so if someone needed 10,000 fast, what would the first thing they would do? Well, they would pull it from their bank account. So the average US citizen has at least $10,000 in their checking account, savings account, even in a CD if they needed to break the CD to get it, match under the mattress, in a coffee can. The average American has 10,000 of liquidity. But we're obviously talking about a scenario where the person doesn't, because we wouldn't even need to have this discussion. So number one probably won't work for the target audience that we're discussing today. So what do we do then? We don't have the cash. Well, the average US person has a $10,000 credit card. So they could pull it. Oh, not form, sorry. They could pull it off of a credit card. So what do we know? The average US citizen has a 717 FICO score. The average US person has citizen has 3 to 5 credit cards. The average US citizen has enough available credit limit to pull 10,000 from their credit card, either directly as a cash advance or through one of these intermediaries like a company called Plastic. All right, so again, I think that's not going to work, because if it were that simple for the target audience we're talking about, we would need to have this discussion. So now we're going to have to move down. We'll leave a space. What do we do if they don't have that liquidity? Well, QuickCash is awesome, and that's what we've been talking about, and it's not the primary topic, but you can go to 509pacific.org, go to QuickCash, and they transfer the 10,000 in 24 hours. That's not our primary topic today, but that is an option if one or two doesn't work for them. Okay, so then are there other options if they lack their own personal liquidity? Absolutely. QuickCash is one, not the only one. So they can be a reseller. Now, this is going to strike some of you. When I say this, it's like I'm disgracing the American flag. But you got to remember, what you and I do is we work with entrepreneurs, otherwise known as small business owners. What does a small business owner do? They sell goods and services to clients. They solve other people's problems in exchange for money, right? That's what a small business owner does. If someone says, well, I want to own a business, but they don't want to solve other people's problems, they don't want to sell a good or a service, then they shouldn't be a small business owner. Well, if they are a small business owner, then theoretically they could go sell more widgets. Widgets is just a generic term, means whatever they normally sell. If they're a tax preparer, they could prepare more taxes. If they're a family estate attorney, they could prepare more wills. If they manufacture toilet lid seats, they could manufacture more toilet lid seats. They would just do more of what they normally do. But in some cases, in some instances, some of these folks, there's some barrier that keeps them from just doing more of whatever they would normally do. So that's where the reseller comes in. Now, I know a lot of you, the reseller is kind of a big deal, right? Because the average reseller refers in a deal a day. Because this is a part-time gig, I realize. The average reseller generates $5,000 profit, 15,000 gross, 5,000 profit per referral. So we would have to, as a reseller, we'd have to refer in 2 clients, but that would give us 10,000 very quickly, right? Are there other options that you can think of? Let's assume that you've got someone, they need some money fast, whether it's to buy a shelf corporation from you, an accelerator from you, or they just need money in general. What other ideas do you have for someone that needs 10,000 fast if they don't have it in their bank account? They can't pull it from their credit card. So we've come up with QuickCash as one option. We've come up with being a reseller, and that's earning income. Again, that's like a dirty word to some people I talk to. Wait, I'd have to earn income? Well, hell yeah. Yeah, earning income is what small businesses do. But I know there's other options. So I'm curious what other options you can think of that if someone just needed 10,000 fast, these options aren't available. What else can you think of? Of course, we mean legal and ethical, of course. Who else can come up with ideas? Okay. Keel brings up a great point. They could sell assets. So, think of a pawn shop model. They have extra piece of electronics or jewelry. furniture, whatever they own, if they don't want to own it anymore, or I guess want to borrow against it, but we'll just make it simple. They don't want to own it anymore. They don't want that grandfather clock anymore. They could sell the grandfather clock on Craigslist or through a pawn shop or wherever, Facebook Marketplace, and get cash. That's right. So it's almost like an asset exchange, right? So we have assets, but we don't have cash. We want cash, so we sell an asset that we don't want anymore. Keel, that is an excellent example. Michelle says that they could bring in an investor, and that's true. And so when we think, it's a great one, actually, Michelle. When we think about investors or what we'll call equity capital, we may think of, well, uh, going into some sort of environment where we have to go find an investor like Shark Tank and pitch them on our idea and get them to buy in. But this can be as informal as a friend, a family member that is willing to invest in your business. Not meaning just give you money, but invest in your business. So that is a good one, Michelle. So that could be a professional investor, or it could be just a friend or a family member. Many businesses start with an influx from the owner themselves and or a friend or family member. All right. Charles brings up a good one, and it's actually one I think he's heard us talk about. And maybe you don't like the ethics of this, but it's legal, so don't worry about that, and it's not distasteful. But women can sell eggs. You're looking at around $20,000 for childbearing aged women can sell eggs through these for-profit companies. So like donating their eggs for IVF for couples that need the egg. So that's a good one, Charles. And then Claude says also sperm. Yeah. So men can sell sperm. And I guess if we're going down the whole line of fluids, you can donate plasma and that type of thing. Can't really sell body organs anymore, but so this is a little bit outside of our normal financial realm, but yeah, I guess there are others. But I want to focus primarily on these two that we can help anyone with. So if you run into someone and they say Anthony or Belzoni or Ben, man, I want funding to start or grow a business. I like what you're telling me about the Shelf Corp, but man, I don't have any upfront money. What are you able to say? No upfront cost. No upfront cost. Let's go highlight that. No upfront cost. We don't charge anything upfront for the Shelf Corps. How much do we charge for the Business Accelerator? No upfront cost. So that's the beauty. We're not screening people out for either of these programs based upon their willingness or ability to pay up front. But if you have someone that's just simply lacking liquidity, we have some good options. QuickCash is reliable. It's good. It's easily available. 509 Pacific. They can become a reseller, which I guess we can expand the page a little bit here. Costs nothing to be a reseller. It's not MLM. It's not network marketing. It's not pay to play, but they can become a reseller and help us help other clients improve their financial literacy, increase access to capital, help those clients get a Shelf Corp or a Business Accelerator and make money. Again, it's not get rich quick, but let's just expand on that. So let's highlight number 4. And we'll come down here. And so as a reseller, what are some major points? No cost to be a reseller. Don't have to be a client. Immediate access to funding. Well, we'll say cash flow because you're not borrowing money. And again, it's not get rich quick. I understand a lot of you make a lot of money. Corinthian, Dominique, a lot of you make a lot of money. There's no way that we're going to be able to impress you with the money that resellers make. But the average reseller, and that's why we always kind of say jokingly, strive to be average. The average reseller refers in one deal per day. So nothing extraordinary. It's just a side gig. They're making on that 5,000 up front, and then they're making 5 points on the client's capital raise. So, depending upon how big the capital raise is, will determine how much money they make. But we know they're going to get at least 100,000. So that would give you 5,000 here, 5,000 here. That puts you at 10,000 per deal. Again, I know that so many of you make so much money that 10,000 seems like a drop in the bucket, but here's a way to accomplish that. All right, so Michael, we're going to go ahead and address any questions, comments, concerns as far as resources and support. QuickCash is on 509 Pacific. If you're not a reseller, you want to become one, just email us. There's no contract to sign, no hurdles to jump through. We'll send you the implementation packet. In fact, a number of you this morning said you didn't know how to get on the Zoom. Well, the Zoom invitation is on the reseller packet. If you need to talk to someone, Madison's your best and most immediate point of contact in our past trainings here. So what questions, comments, concerns do you have? Because ultimately the goal is for you to go make 10,000 today. Now it could be more, but assuming that you make 5,000 up front, which you certainly should, and assuming that you'll make at least 5,000 on the back end, which is 5 points of the minimum 100,000 capital raise. What is it that you need to know? And we have 432 of you on. So Raymond and Tim and Tram. Okay, so a number of you have bought recently the reseller marketing package. And so let's go ahead and highlight that. And we're a little bit behind on processing those, but by Monday we'll be current. I think we had 178 of you buy the reseller marketing package this week. So it is taking a little while for them to process, but by Monday, everyone that's ordered one. But the question or the topic is the reseller marketing package. It is not free. It's not free, not free. So it's separate from enrolling as a reseller because this takes time, effort, energy. But our team will build a land, and it's up to you if you want it. I'm not trying to push you on it. I'm not trying to persuade you, just answering the question or responding to the prompt. So it includes a landing page with the automation, which means it has the drip marketing, text, and email, has the e-signature contract. And then also it allows you to earn overrides because now we have you put into the system, and then you can bring in other reseller marketers or other resellers if you want, and you earn a override from them. We're not MLM or network marketing, but just allows for an override. And so then you'd make 5K upfront override, and you'd also make 5% back end override. So it's a great deal. You're essentially making the same in the override, but you do need to have the package for us to facilitate this because you need to be in the system. They need to be in the system. So the computer system understands you qualify for an override. Otherwise it'd be very manual. All right. Dominique asked about QuickCash, and this is a question I get often that Dominique's asking. With that 10,000, they can use that for whatever they want. It's not restricted funds. Typically, people will use QuickCash because they need money to pay for the Shelf Corp or Business Accelerator. Because we're not saying that these things are free. These aren't free. Most things in life are not free, but there's no upfront cost because we finance. If they don't want to finance or they can't finance for some reason, then you're right. They could use QuickCash, or they could be a reseller, or they could sell assets. They could bring in an investor, or they could sell body parts. All right. Michael's asking about the reseller marketing package. Yeah, so if you want the reseller marketing package, now that is in writing because there's a cost, right? Anything in writing we want to have, and anything that has a cost we want to have in writing so everyone's on the same page. Just email us If you're interested in the reseller marketing package, we can send the packet over to you. You can review it. If you want to do it, great. If you don't, it's fine. But this essentially is what it includes. And in fact, we'll reimburse you. It's $1,000 for it. And that's covering our cost to set it up and maintain the website and all that. But we will reimburse 100% with your first deal. So essentially, we'll give it away. We want you to have some skin in the game. And as long as you're confident you can do at least one deal, then it's a no-brainer, because then you get this back off of your first deal. But you don't have to do this. I'm not trying to pitch you on it. Just when we set up the reseller program, we thought, oh, these people will be able to do these things themselves. Some lack the technical capability. All right, well, we try to keep Friday's training a little bit shorter because we frankly have a staff meeting. It starts at 8:30. So with that being said, we'll be back Monday. Hopefully we've opened your eyes of some options we have for getting people 10,000 fast. The QuickCash is great. Being a reseller is great. But there's other things that they could do outside of our program. They could sell an old TV or old VCR they don't want anymore, get some money. They could bring in investors, as Michelle mentioned. And frankly, there's some more innovative ways. With all that being said, we'll see you back on Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.